Welcome to Mar-a-Lago for this exciting announcement of the new Golden Fleet. We're calling it the Golden Fleet that we're building for the United States Navy. As you know, we're desperately in need of ships. There's never been anything like these ships. These have been under design consideration for a long time. And it started with me in my first term, because I said, why aren't we doing battleships like we used to?
Trump's narcissism was on full display yesterday as he announced plans for a new Golden Fleet for the US Navy, including 2 brand new Trump-class battleships. Because this is totally what our, quote, pro-peace president should be focusing on right now. Isn't that right, Jack?
There are two sides. There are two parts of this story. One is Trump keeps basically hinting that he's fabulous. Fascinating, we'll come back to that. And number 2 is the enormous boondoggle these ships are likely to be. I'm gonna tell you a disaster scenario with these ships, and let alone the fact that he's wasting our money, as Jordan's about to explain.
Now, Trump is talking a big game with these battleships, saying they will be bigger, badder, and even more lethal than any ship before it.
These cutting-edge vessels will be some of the most lethal surface warfare ships. They will be actually the most ever built other than our submarines. Each one of these will be the largest battleship in the history of our country, the largest battleship in the history of the world ever built. And again, it's 100 times more powerful than the previous Iowa class, it's called. Those are the big ones that you'd see on a show. Victory at Sea. I don't know if anyone's seen Victory at Sea, but it was a classic.
In addition to these ships, Trump also announced a new class of aircraft carriers, but didn't go into much detail about those. Because the Trump class, the USS Defiant, are to be armed with a wide array of missiles, including nuclear-armed and hypersonic types, as well as electromagnetic railguns, laser-directed energy weapons, and more. Trump says the goal now is to build at least 2 of these vessels, but that fleet size could grow to 10 hulls or more. There'll be an upgrade to the Navy's current destroyers. Construction is apparently set to begin almost immediately and will take about 2.5 years to complete. It could range anywhere from $5 billion to $15 billion per ship. But not everyone is convinced that this is necessary. Mark Montgomery, a former rear admiral who was senior director at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, criticized the Golden Fleet plan as exactly what we don't need. We do not need ships that are not optimized to provide lethality against the Chinese threat, Montgomery said, adding that the new frigate has 0 tactical use because it won't be equipped with a vertical launch system or the Aegis ballistic defense system. According to the warzone.com, the Navy has been stressing a need for more surface warships overall, not super capable ones built in small quantities. That is not what these are focused on. They are focused on the president's visual that a battleship is a cool looking ship. And that's what this boils down to. The Navy is tasked with leading the design of the new battleships, which are expected to be ready early next decade, according to the Defense Department. Trump said he will also play a role because I am a very aesthetic person. And here's the concept rendering they came up with. And yes, that's Donald Trump's attempted assassination photo right at the front. This shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. Trump has been determined to make everything in America big, bold, and his, especially things that don't meet his standard.
Mr. President, the ballroom is 4 times the size of the White House. He said, Jesse, it's a monument. I'm building a monument to myself because no one else will.
Since President Trump moved in nearly 8 weeks ago, he has more than tripled the number of paintings that you see hanging on the walls of the Oval Office. There's so many that there's almost not really any wall space left when you're inside the Oval. But the president hasn't stopped there. Also in keeping with a style that he has adhered to for decades, there's a lot more gold inside the Oval Office. If you look above the mantle, there are several golden figurines lined across it. And often when the president is greeting a world leader, sitting in those two chairs before the fireplace, you can see the golden medallions that are now in front of it. And if you look over to the tables, the side tables, you can see golden figurines of eagles placed there.
And he's also attached his name to the Kennedy Center, the U.S. Institute of Peace, and he's added banners with his face and or policies to the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Labor, the Department of Health and Human Services, national park passes. I mean, this is just jank. It's obscene, but it's almost beyond parody. The guy slapped his name on everything for decades, and now he's doing it to our entire government.
Yeah, well, let's start out fun and go more serious as we go along, right? So this brother is obsessed with design. He's like, you remember in his first term, he talked about, I'm the one that picked the colors for Air Force One. Look at all my gold trimmings, everyone. I'm a very aesthetic person. All right, bro. All right, I got it. Okay, so fascinating obsession with aesthetics. Okay, that's fun. We'll put that aside, not important. Okay, now, next, obsession with himself. Now, this one is important. Guys, the president is supposed to serve us. That's how it works in a democracy. He's supposed to look out for all the people. He's not supposed to say things like, no one else is gonna look out for me, so I'm looking out for me and I'm building monuments for me, me. I mean, you can't get a more narcissistic, selfish, useless president than that. And so I know the politicians have huge egos. They're almost all narcissists. Biden was an absolute disaster in that category. Would rather burn the country down than lose a shred of power for his own, dementia-riddled mind and his family, etc. So, but Trump takes it to a different level, man. If Biden had said, it is now the Biden-Kennedy Center, people have been like, ew, what are you doing? Why are you putting your own name on it? Like, I couldn't care less about the Kennedy Center. Also interesting that Trump is like obsessed with the Kennedy Center, right? You know why? Because he always wanted to be among the elites. And so they never let him into his club. He was bitter about it. So he did this whole spiel. Now he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna name after myself. Like that ballroom would be twice the size of the White House. So we're gonna have this giant, gaudy, insane ballroom. By the way, paid for by Palantir and Miriam Adelson. They'll probably get plaques in there. Don't forget, Noble Mobile saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back. Twice the size of the White House, looking like this, some sort of monstrosity. And everything is Trump. God, his narcissism is deeply problematic for a person who was supposed to be representing other people, all of us. And if you think he's not a narcissist, I can't talk to you because you've like detached from reality and you're floating in space like Sandra Bullock, okay? So now when you get to two most serious things, one is this, do you see the numbers that Jordan just told you about? They're gonna spend so much money on this. This is the defense contractors thinking, we'll just tell the idiot that we'll do sharks with freaking laser beams on their heads. And he'll believe it because he's freaking Dr. Evil, right? So they're like, oh yeah, lasers and this. And you're right, sir. We should have bigger giant battleships named after you, sir. And what they've done is they've spread out suppliers so that they're in all 50 states, so that the senators and the congressmen could then have an excuse to say, well, I'm protecting jobs in my district, in my state, I'm protecting jobs. So they've covered themselves 8 ways to Sunday to steal our money with this giant, useless boondoggle. Guys, the number one problem today in warfare is drones. So if you build a giant island that is very hard to move, it's a sitting duck for endless drone attacks. But they don't care. They don't care about security. All they care about is how much can we rob the American people before they find out that it's a damn robbery, okay? That's what's going on here. And finally, is it working for Trump? All this me, Trump boats, Trump golden ballrooms, Trump Kennedy Center, etc. No, he's getting his ass handed to him by the American people as well. He should. He's down to a 36% approval rating in the last Gallup poll. He's down minus 23 overall. He's at minus 43 with independents. Those are the numbers that when Biden had him a year and a half before the election, I said nighty night. This thing is over. Biden can't possibly win. Now Trump's hopefully not running again, but these are devastating numbers for Trump, the Republican Party, etc. In the midst of people being super angry about many issues, Epstein, Israel, we don't control our own country, a million things. The number one thing they're worried about is the economy. And 68% of Americans say it's headed in the wrong direction. And Trump says, but don't worry, I'm building a grand ballroom and I'm naming ships after myself. Is there gonna be musicals too? Probably at the Kennedy Center. So yeah, this is why he's unpopular, because people don't want this crap.
Yeah, I mean, on the Kennedy Center thing, he's hosting the Kennedy Center Awards tonight. And he seems very excited about that. He posted earlier on X that if he does a great job, maybe he'll leave the presidency and just be a full-time host. That's what he wants. But a couple things here. The cost, again, here's another example. Billions of dollars that he is just unilaterally allocating for this stuff. No conversation about how are we going to pay for it. It's only healthcare. It's only SNAP benefits. It's only things that benefit the working class. Do they question how we might pay for it, or how we might afford something like that? And then on all these monuments to himself, my dad's watching the show and texted me, pretty soon he's gonna start calling himself Pharaoh. But that got me thinking, we're only a year or two out, maybe even sooner, before he demands that the government construct an opulent, massive burial site for him. I mean, that doesn't seem too far-fetched. I mean, sure, probably not a pyramid, but we're going to see something. In addition to a presidential library, there's going to be some massive, ridiculous gold-plated burial site for Trump at the taxpayer's expense.
And I have a good idea as to what'll be the centerpiece of that: a golden calf.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.